Welcome back to the Good Nigeria Show on the Isle 95.9, your home for business, economy, and development. It's time for the Show Business Show, the segment where, creativity meets commerce.
And we love to do that because most times people talk about music and we only look at the glitz, the glam of it all. But they call it showbiz for a reason. So we're really
The business side of it.
business side of the show. All right. And today we have a very, very special guest in the studios with us. She's well vested in the music industry. She's also like Lil Birdie told me that you're like a radio veteran. You've been in the video game for a long time as well. Because when I first got to know about you, it was, you're working A&R, you work as a music executive, as a music manager. Ladies and gentlemen, be very incredible. We're joined by the very incredible Princess Chinazara, popularly known as the Radio Chef. She is a dynamic music executive.
She cooks and she ate.
Well, okay, she's cooking with the music.
Yeah. Actually, not really though.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, I have a cooking background as well.
You had the cooking background as well.
Yeah, so
What don't you do?
the radio chef comes from beach, boats on the radio, and cooking actual food, I promise. Not cooking on the radio, but then I used to cook on the radio as well, so I take it.
Well, listen to the Radio Chef, Princess Chinazara, who's here to talk about the business side of music. So are you up and coming? I don't know how you can be up and coming 5 years in the game.
And you're still not blue. There's a lot.
I told you.
You need to chill with the most high get.
Exactly. I told you. Tell your friends if they're struggling to make it into music, she's going to give you insight that's going to help you to just find your path. All right?
That's
When we're back, get into the interview.
The Isle 95.9.
Princess Chinazara is still here with us on the Isle 95.9. And we are here to talk about the business of music.
That's right. As I said earlier, Princess Chinazara is basically an expert in the field of music. Years of being an A&R manager, a music manager, a music executive. Can you say hello to us one time? Hi. I like that. Before we came on air, I was talking about how you've been on radio for a long time. I would like to know, before we even get into how you broke into A&R and music management, do you think that your time on radio helped you to be better in those fields?
Oh yeah, I would say my time on radio actually sharpened my skills as an A&R. Because majority of my time on radio, I spent scheduling music and curating music that people were listening to. So I was sort of like the ears that would screen the music to know which ones get on air. And we all know it's the best music that plays on the radio. That's what we do.
I know, that's what we do right here as well.
Yeah, that definitely helps me in carving my skills as an A&R. But then, obviously, when I made sense of what it was, I'm like, oh, okay, I could do this. Yeah, and then I tried my hands in it and saw that, it really was for me. So
what was that point where you say, oh, I'd really broken into this? What was the turning point?
when I got my job at Sony West Africa, again, I kind of figured, okay, maybe so, because basically jobs like that, you have an interview and then you know if you're gonna get this or not. Yeah. And having interviews, I realized that I sort of had a lot of experience when I was communicating things that I had dealt with in the music business, so to say, and that was off the grid, that was on my own independently. And being able to say I had done those things and that making me a viable person for the job sort of certified that, I was onto something.
All right, but in the midst of all of this, or through it all, what exactly, because you've now gone into managing artists and trying to bring people up to speed, especially King Madi, who was making waves recently. Yeah. So what exactly drew you to King Madi first? Let me ask you that.
Oh, to be honest, it was the music. The first time I heard her unreleased music, she hadn't put out music before, like to my knowledge, in her life. But then obviously a lot of that has changed. But listening to her music for the first time, not knowing who she was, I was like, this is a talented artist. And then I learned she was very young, and that was to say most of the reason why her music hadn't come out into the world yet. I'm like, no, that's supposed to be the reason why her music should come out into the world. So yeah, I think that was it for me. It was the music that I miss so.
Was our craft.
Yeah.
Because, we have a lot of up and coming, and they would like to know that what exactly were you look. Did you see? What was that different thing? That, okay, Madi, you have it.
Yeah, so in a world of like a million and one voices, being able to sing music that can strike the nerve of a me, for example, because I'll say I had the ears, I bopped on radio, I've listened to before Davido's music comes out, you've heard it, you hear that kind of thing. So me being able to hear an unreleased artist music and be like, okay, this is actually up to par, that's means that the first thing first would be sharpening your skills as an artist, being able to make your voice or make something that stands out from the rest. Because easily you could get lost in the crowd. Anybody can say, "Give me," I can say.
I'm not a stalker or anything, but I was stalked. So I was on your stories, and there was a post you make, and you say one of the hardest thing about success is not getting there. It's about managing it and maintaining it. So for an artist like King Madi, who has such a delectably distinct sound and her artistry, she's at the top of her game now. How do you ensure that she stays there and she doesn't get caught up in the noise?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this is information that you were giving on radio. Okay. No. Oh, let her share because I'm in. Right now, as of the moment, I am no longer her business manager because she's left the label that I was business managing her for just very recent, if you swear. I can still speak on this, but I'm just trying to clarify that, yeah, right now it's not really my place telling.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, that almost always is a decision of the artist because at the end of the day, you are the creative. Yes, we create a business around your talent, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's in the best position to know how to handle success, so to say. Because I always like to tell artists, you can never be number one forever. Like, I promise you, nobody was number one forever. Even Michael Jackson was not number one forever, if you get what I mean. So at the end of the day, you have to be able to paint yourself back into reality to understand that you are just a carrier of a gift trying to share with the world, so to say. So if you get lost in that bubble, it's very easy for you to get out of your game because the times that's the hardest is when you're not number one. Yeah. So you have to always be in tune with the fact that you are only human.
Yeah.
And yes, you are gifted and all of that, but I'm not always going to be number one, which means that I should just be doing this for the people that care to listen. So the moment you just understand that there's certain people that care to listen, you're just catering to them, I do believe that you'll be able to stay in more like a sane bubble. Yeah. That makes any sense.
All right, then.
Don't get stolen away. We're still still a good one is your writer, and we're having so much fun.
The Isle 95.9.
This is still Please Show Business right here on the Good Morning Nigeria. The Good Nigeria. I'm so sorry. This is the Isle 95.9 FM. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Big Daddy Amoy Lagos.
And my name still remains Omo B. So Luna Mopola Sandra for sure. Right. And we have the radio chef with us in the studio, Princess Chinozara. We're talking the business side of music. So let's talk numbers, shall we?
Okay. What you want to know about numbers?
All right, so let's talk numbers. Let's see what we have here. If what's the hardest part, about managing an often coming?
B, taking the talents to the world is kind of like the toughest part at the end of the day. Okay, so taking the talents to the world at the end of the day is the most difficult part of it because it's one thing for someone to be able to make music, and then it's another thing for you to be able to sell the music to the world and have people accept that this person is an artist in entirety. So I would say discovering the talents, 1, 2 would then be marketing the talent. Yeah.
So what are the unique challenges that artists face? And we're talking contracts now, contracts and opportunities. There's been a lot of issues with, artists and record labels. And what are the things that an artist should look out for when it comes to, getting the business side of their artistry right?
Okay, I'll say first things first, be sure that the label is willing to invest in you, which means even if now you might not have the best numbers, that's a label that knows that this I can turn to numbers. This talent I can put money on and turn to numbers. So obviously you have to want a label that has a good enough shape. Let's just say good enough marketing budget for you. But when I say good enough marketing budget, I know that people expect that that means that the label is going to say, oh, I will spend $5 million on you. At the end of the day, that's not necessarily what it is. A marketing budget mostly depends on a good marketing plan at the end of the day. So a label might be able to connect a lot of dots for you that you might not necessarily be able to quantify into like monetary value exactly. So just know that you should be working with someone that has a plan, has a vision, and sees your vision as well. Because a label willing to spend their money on you means that they believe that you are going to be something. So you have to look out for a label that sees the vision, buys into the dream, and is willing to take the journey with you.
So, thank you so much, Princess Chinata. Before we ran at the break, I was talking about how I probably saw you at In Her Element. You were a mentor on that event. Now, I know you manage everybody, male, female, all of that. But let's talk about, the industry and the female artists, right? Gender-based conversation now. How do we ensure, because the men are kind of like popping, but the women are also talented. How do we ensure that the women can get more penetration into the music space?
This is a very interesting one. So to be honest, I'm one of them people that tries not to, as much as is me just living in my little la la land, I try not to see gender. So I do feel like a lot of artists, that female artists that are able to break ahead and get through the biases and all of that, are mostly always artists that try their best to just eyes on the prize and try not to see your gender. So not to say that funny things are not going to happen or they're not going to have to contest as a woman, which is inevitable. But I do feel like a lot of women learning to be audacious, learning to know that you can get it too, standing on what you want and your worth also gets like, it might not pay off in a short time, but eventually it would pay off. I love female artists a lot. So me, I'm always rooting for the girls there, if you know what I mean. But obviously, as women, we have characteristics that kind of make the playing field kind of different for us, if that makes any sense. Because I mean, for example, an artist is going to maybe want to get married and have kids, all of those things, which kind of like change the trajectory as to how your career may go or may not go. So most times it's like people will now say, okay, catch them young, but then catching them young as a woman, also being exposed to a lot of things at a young age too can be quite exactly intuitive. So most times I always say, as a female young artist, if you're trying to get it, I advise that you take out time to find game management that sees the vision and can protect you from whatever, finicky things that it may be. Also be good to get, if you're able to get a label deal early enough, that kind of also helps, because that means there's now structure around you that helps you put everything in place. Because I know a lot of women that would say, oh, the man likes me, so he's not letting me record. All of those things. If you had a label that was about the business and, they signed you contractually to get work done and, eyes on the prize, I'm just trying to be an artist. Because a lot of times, artists trying to do the business as well can be counterproductive, because we all have the roles that we play.
So they should focus on the art.
Yeah, so if you're able to find a way in which you can focus on the art better, that works best, in my opinion. So find you a good management that would do most of the running for you, label that would cover costs and, help with all that, which is still not easy to find. But to be honest, labels even want to sign female artists more than male artists at the end of the day. It's just that male artists are able to get it regardless, whatever, because I mean, you don't need to do too much. Throw on a nice shirt and jeans and you're outside. But Dave has to go do the hair, do the lashes, got to get the nails done, all of that. So that even needs a lot more investment than male artists. But if you are, we all know once the babes get it, the men can't touch us. If we mean it. So, yeah, I mean, I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, I do think that one of the things that would help bridge a lot of that would be female artists being a lot more inclined to get on label deals and just like letting the system work for them.
Okay, speaking of women, in the music business, we've had some women, and they will also have shot it one way or the other because no, but seriously, when they're talking about the top four, the big four, the big three, it's they're all men. But before we break into that conversation, but let's go back to that end of that conversation. And this is still the Isle 95.9. You're listening to Princess Chinazar. She's a music executive, a business mogul when it comes to, music, artistry, A&R as well. And also the radio chef. Just in case you're a little come back, I'm going to give you a tutorial on my Igbo name. Chinazar.
This somebody, they get the long tutorial. Boogie right, don't go anywhere.
The Isle 95.9.
Still on to the Good Nigeria show right here on the Isle. It's the show business show. As you know how we do it every Friday by 10 a.m. We talk the business side of the creative industry. And today we're talking the business of music. And before we went on the break, we're talking to Princess Chizara, who took her time to explain that it's not Chinazara, it's Chizara. And we had to get that. Right. Thank you very much. Okay, so it's Princess Chizoram, and we're talking about gender in, the music industry and how, the women have it a little bit tougher. But you also made a statement, ironically as well, but the music execs would rather even sign a woman, that they want to sign women. So why do you think that is?
So women are about good looks. We're about beauty and aesthetics. So typically show business shoots for aesthetics to attract a lot more than any other thing, So if we're more the ones with aesthetics, who would better, But then at the end of the day, it's as interesting as it's difficult as well, because we're also, should I say, expensive to maintain.
Okay. Good.
At the end of the day. So yeah, because female artists have a lot to offer in the sense of being able to give you good looks. For example, see Ira Star. Picture like today, she's gonna post a nice picture. Everybody's looking for, but the girls and the boys are looking forward to when an Ira Star is gonna post a picture. You know what I mean? So
But doesn't that take, attention away from the artist?
show business is more concrete when you are able to have a brand outside of what you actually do.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's more interesting. You can sing, but then you can stay valid even when you're not singing. That makes for a lot more conversation. That makes for you really sitting in the minds of people.
But visuals are very important.
So wait, you're saying the labels are willing to hire the ladies, to sign the ladies. Does that mean that the ladies are more
Commercially viable.
commercially viable?
Yeah, because beauty sells.
So we're talking endorsements. Talking.
So the guys are
They sell.
what is so? No, okay, so back at their nails done.
Hey, don't test flavor now. I'll test flavor. Go push it.
Flavor got his nails done. You know what? Let's not say it too loud.
No, but really, what you're saying is that the ladies have so much more going for them. They have their body, they have their, aesthetics,
Yeah.
and then they have their arts as well. And then the guys, they have just the art.
Yeah, and just the third side, just like looking fly.
Why is that so hard to look for?
Yeah, that's what as a man, if he has what I need.
But before we leave this gender topic, aspect of it, as a woman who is in sort of like a decision-making seat in the music industry, and what has been that moment where you felt really proud to be a woman, who can make these decisions and probably help ladies the way you have and help shape their career?
I think that majorly, I had that euphoria a lot more when I was on the radio channeling music. Being able to get the women on the playlist was fires. Yeah, so it's like, oh, any dope female artist, let's get her on the airways. So yeah, that was a moment for me, being able to get a lot of female artists playing on the airways.
All right, let's quickly get this, because a lot of upper coming, they're just like, they just want to blow, they just want to get their music out there and all of that. Let them know the relevance of an A&R and what the A&R does behind the scene. Yeah.
So as an artist, you can make 500 songs. Not all the 500 songs are going to strike something in everybody. So being able to have someone that has the ears to pin down the ones that can get attention the fastest or that can linger in people's hearts the longest is very important, because you are the one making the art. A lot of times you're not really able to come out of and see yourself from the outer body. So having an A&R that has good ears, because I like to tell artists that we all have our gifts, yeah. Most times everybody just wants to crunch into the other person's lane. Like if you actually decide to stay in your lane, you learn that there's people that actually somehow in the way you are born with this voice to say, there's somebody that's born with ears to hear. You know, like there's just people out there.
Some people can cook, but they have taste.
Yeah, like me. Exactly. There's some people that know how to cook, but no matter how they cook, they won't cook food that will be so tasty like someone else's if they were taste oil. So like there's just people that are born with the skills to be able to fish down talent, to be able to hear a song and say, if the whole world heard this, they will stop. And then a lot of times you being the creative yourself, it's counterintuitive for you to want to play both sides a lot of times, because you're the one that made it. You can always feel like this is the one. And that's just what it is.
Exactly, because I remember, the Gongaso album. Apparently, the artist thought Photocopy was going to be the hit.
The big one, yeah.
And then Gongaso became the hit.
Give you a nice example to King Maddie off of the first EP. She didn't think American Love was big.
Sorry. Sorry
But
about
Vision was the one. So if you even notice, she had teased Vision before the EP ever came out. She was pushing Vision. People love Vision. Not to say Vision is a good song. So I was like, American Love, that's a smash hit right there. Everybody's going to hear that as stars. Then, you tested it. The EP came out and everybody gravitated towards American Love. You had been teasing Vision, but they still...
I knew she was a star immediately I heard that song. That was the moment where I knew she was a star. But from your experience, short and simple, what would you say is the anatomy of a hit?
I don't like it when people like to dissect things like this, because I'm going to be a crazy person and say it's spiritual.
Okay.
Because I don't know, you just hear it. I don't know how to explain it.
It's a feeling.
It's a feeling. It's euphoria. I don't know. But because a hit a lot of times is not always a fast-paced song.
Yeah.
For example, you just say Jackie's Forever before became Forever is mid tempo. It put like almost a slow song type mid tempo, not even mid tempo. And that still was able to cross and be a hit record in Africa. So I do think that a hit record is really a feeling. Is when you hear, it's a combination of a lot of things. So I don't know that I can list, but I'll say, most times with hit records, there's always great production.
Yeah.
Production is always very important when it comes to that. So great production, audibility, being like people being able to hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say those two, to be honest, because I don't really think that there's particular things that make for a hit record.
But when you hear it, you just kind of, it's so special, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right? Okay, just a quick one before we listen to some more music and all. What are some behind the scenes revenue streams, that artists often overlook?
So I'll say,
because a lot of people just feel like, okay, I need to just get my music out there, or I need to probably just headline a concert, or be like, just be on the side for another artist or whatnot. Because what do you reckon? There's a lot of things.
some people are artists that haven't gotten to where they're trying to get to yet. Try writing for other people. That's other ways to make money. Try your heart. I know artists that turn to producers just because, there's a lot of ways that people make money in the back ends. Merchandising, if let's say you happen to have one way, so you haven't had another one in a long time, and you have this merch that maybe really makes that.
Some of the lyrics on it.
You know, and then people just see it, like it, and want it for themselves because they really like the song. You know, there's little pockets and little ways. I mean, we will show them club bookings, people, and it works. Yeah, so
Before we go on the music break, I want us to talk about the industry gap. If you were gonna do something that could really make the industry a lot better for upcoming artists, and I had like 100 billion, or in fact, a blank check, and I'll think of you. What would be the first thing that you would do based on your experience, just to make it easier and more sustainable for the younger artists that are coming up?
If you had 100 million,
Or more. I'm rich.
what would be? What would
I'm very pro artist development. I'm very pro artist development. So I think one of the very first things I'll do will be to get great studio in there. I feel like a lot of creatives are not able to really know their strengths and how much they can push themselves based on not having access to making music in the first place. So, or continuously making music. Because for a lot of times too, even with having the talents, you see that you might have to have recorded maybe 100 songs before you find 2 songs that are really going to change your career, take it from point A to point B. So first things first would be studios, a lot of, so I don't think that that's something that has really very well been invested in.
So do you see yourself
West Africa.
owning a lady someday?
I definitely say that around me and learn just to see how.
That's like in another 2-3 years, you're gonna have your own record label.
Why are you taking the timeline though? Wow.
No, because I told you she was doing mentorship when I last saw her. So obviously it's in the offing. These things are coming.
Yes. I do it at only level someday.
Okay. All right. Well, it is Build a Good Nigeria show on the aisle 95.9. This is the Show Business Show.
No, 95.9.
All right. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. It is still the Good Nigeria show right here on the aisle 95.9. Princess Chizaram is still here, looking beautiful, like a good Nigerian that she is. Doing awesome things, especially for, female artists, And I'm looking forward to, you just one day just be like, you know what? I'm just going to go into the trenches, into the slums and look for one talent there.
Not the slums.
Well,
Why did you do a face like that?
that's weird.
I don't know, like, what's great?
There's talent in the slums. There is, like the Wayne way said, not the slums.
Again, there's talent everywhere. You can rap, you can find it.
There is that. Where is the weirdest place you have, listened to a new song or, a new artist? Or discovered a new artist? Where's the weirdest place?
Discovered a new artist. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's in weird place, but one of my artist development artists actually is a very interesting story to tell. I think one day, so initially I had been approached before I started working with Believe Osoni, and approached by a friend of mine, popularly known, I think he went Action Ben that went for the last million. So Action that told me, there's this artist, he lives in Port Harcourt, he's so great, he's amazing. I'm trying to sign him. I'm like, okay, I'll need your help with everything. I'm like, okay, babe, let me hear this artist. To be honest, I wasn't thinking it was meant to be. I was like, because Action, where could you have possibly seen an artist that is great? I got slides. So then I was like, keep him. Action, sorry. And then he sent me the music. I'm like, okay, hold up. This is interesting. Okay. And then he told me how the artist didn't sign and whatever. And so when I started working with Sony, I received this long DM. This DM. If you believe in me and you take, just introduce me to the Jazzy, don't worry, I'm going to blow, I'm so talented, I'm like, who is this guy? And then turns out it's the same guy I heard before, I don't know.
Oh, you're a better woman than here. And some other people be like, I thought first time.
I was like, no, you come, let's hear you out. And then I did sign him to Sony actually, and he just put out his first song ever a few months ago. And it's actually doing well.
Yeah. So you've never turned down an artist or a song. You've never turned down. Have you ever?
I do turn down a lot. Myself turning down, not gonna lie.
See through.
Because I do be trying to do my best to lay my hands on the one of ones. And if you do check the track record, that's kind of flaws. So yeah, I be looking for one of ones.
We have Antoinette, who's one of our ones.
She knows Seki makes like. Then come on. She do have a question for her since she said that she does look up for like.
I want her to meet you. Can we let her meet you? I don't know.
Okay, before you ask me your question,
Shut up, start say a fine. Anyway, no, but this is Antoinette. She holds down the afternoon run, and yeah, the Express, the Isle Express. That she's here for Andover. I think like, oh, come meet Princess Chinazar. Maybe she's an artist.
Yeah, well, she writes.
So that
I'm not sure about sick.
I'm a music artist. I'm not a music artist, but I think I would call myself a music enthusiast because I love music. I love the arts around music.
I don't believe that is. It's okay. What's your question?
Okay, yeah. What do you look out for in an artist that tells you, oh, this person has
Just a minute, hours.
Doesn't want me.
In 1 minute.
What do I know? Like how do I know? First of all, you have to have steez. Good yokes.
Like this boy, I mean, this boy.
And he played me a song and it was really
Shit, they got
problems. That's the problem. So
You even made it, didn't you?
some people are born with the steez. Some people need money to get the steez. So first of all, if you have the steez naturally, and then you have the music in place, that means that what we need to do is also to watch.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just surgery.
Awesome talking to you guys. Thank you for having me. Thank you for Princess Chinazar.
Thank you so much. It's been a great show, 6 a.m. till 11 a.m. We do this every weekday, so catch us on Monday. We'll be back. Big Daddy Emre Lagos. Amabi, sign out. Have a lovely weekend ahead. We love you.
Hello, my name is Emmanuel Amalo, the head of news on the Isle on 95.9 FM. If you love what you just watched, do like, comment, subscribe, and engage with the channel.